Hi everyone, my name is Kit Serrano Cadavos, first year college student taking up Bachelor of Elementary Education. Among of all environmental factors that could affect biodiversity, I choose climate change. Say climate change and see how most people react. Climate change isn't just words, it is a real thing. A man made climate change is a very scary real thing. The rise in global temperature over the last several decades is a matter of public record. There is a massive scientific agreement that it can only be explained by one thing: the rise in greenhouse gas emissions caused by human activities. Some people say that climate change is natural and we shouldn't worry. The answer to that is that we have indeed had naturally occurring climate change since the Earth was formed. But none of the natural causes of climate variation, from the sun's output, the tilt of the Earth, volcanic activity, or emissions from rotting vegetation, can account for the warming we observe today. There is only one thing that can: the emissions from fossil fuels caused by human activities. It's not bad as you think, it's the worst. The environment in Philippines suffered badly. Numerous species, habitats, birds, trees, and aquatic life were affected by the hot conditions and high demand for water. This kind of thing won't happen every year, but it will happen more frequently and it will happen worse. Climate change means more rain is likely to fall more quickly into our rivers. So they will fill up quicker and will flood the surrounding land unless they can rapidly discharge all that rainwater into the sea. But the higher tides and sea levels, which climate change will also bring, mean that precisely when we need our rivers to be better and discharging water to the sea, they will be less and less able to do so because they will be increasingly tide locked. So we could have three nightmare future scenarios. One where high seas overwhelmed our sea defenses, and second, where the rivers flood the land behind the defenses, and third, the worst of all, where both of these things happen together. The result, if we fail to address this future risk, will be that many low-lying parts of the country will be either permanently waterlogged or flooded with such frequency as to be no longer habitable. But disaster is non-inevitable. We can tackle this problem. We know what we need to do. It's summed up by another two words that tend to make people switch off, but which also really matter: the mitigation and adaptation. There's more good news. There is now a pretty broad consensus, at least this country, on the need to do these things. The government gets it. Don't underestimate the power of the people. We've seen an almost overnight change in behavior in relation to plastics. We're seeing something similar, if slower, in people's attitude to water, with more and more of us taking care to use it wisely. It has become socially unacceptable to litter or to use throwaway plastic bags. It is increasingly socially unacceptable to waste water. The same thing can happen, and maybe is happening, with regard to behavior which stokes climate change. One last bit of good news: while it will cost a lot of money to respond successfully to climate change, we can afford it. Indeed, it's the best investment we could possibly make. It would be much more expensive not to respond. And the economic benefits of mitigating and adapting to climate change, in terms of damage foregone, extra growth achieved through new investment and infrastructure, prosperity boosted through innovative technology, far outweigh the cost. Many people might not get out of bed to fight something that sounds roughly technical and threatening cold climate change. But pretty much all of us would do so to protect our loved ones, our homes, and our livelihoods, and to build a better world. The conclusion is climate change is too true to be good. So let's tell it like it is. Let's tackle it together and let's redouble our efforts. That's all.